I'm Simona Leroy, and this is the module about Step 2, Observe and Analyze Your Child's Reactions, from the course presenting the PAF method for overcoming children's fears. In the previous module about Step 1, I've explained the secret keys, the secret levers, which enable you to understand fears and to diminish their intensity. In this module about Step 2, I will explain what you should observe in your child and what we should take into account as parents and educators. This information will enable you to know how to define the diagnosis, the starting stage of your project, how to design the steps of your project, and how to determine the goals, the actions, and the rewards for each step of your project. In order to facilitate your work, I have defined 5 tasks. For each task, you will find in tools a supporting list or a supporting questionnaire. At the end of this module, you can print them and work on them. So let's start with the first chapter, how your child reacts to a fear, and let's focus our attention on 2 very important points: symptoms and defense strategies. Symptoms are the most visible part of child's reactions to a fear. In the previous module about children's fears in general, I said that these symptoms may be physical or changes in behavior or attitude. I also explained that these symptoms could have high, medium, or low intensity. In tools, you will find a list of all the symptoms that I have mentioned. You can print it at the end of this module and use it as a support to your own analysis. Use your own observation and your child's answer to mark each symptom with a corresponding value, a value from 0 to 10. This value represents the intensity at which the symptom manifests itself. 10 represents a very high intensity. A symptom that your child does not experience receives the value of 0. Observing these symptoms allows you to know if it's a fear or a phobia. These symptoms are also the best indicator regarding the progress made by your child. If in a couple of days or weeks symptoms decrease in intensity, that is a sign that your strategy starts to work. When all symptoms have disappeared, that is a sign that fear has been defeated. And now let's move to the most important point of this module, defense strategies. Facing a difficult emotion as fear pushes every child to develop defense strategies. These strategies can be divided into 3 categories: running strategies, attack strategies, and barricade strategies. When small children have to face a monster, the darkness, or other situation that produce fear, they tend to use running strategies and barricade strategies. Running strategies include running and everything the child may do to avoid meeting with the situation, the person, or the animal that causes the fear. For example, he might refuse to go near the places where he believes the monster lies: basement, attic, in his room when it is dark. In order to avoid some dangerous areas, the child may use alternative roads that do not pass through these areas, or he will look very interested in areas that are far away from the danger zone. Barricade strategies consist of everything that the child creates, builds, brings in order to protect himself and become unreachable. The most common example of a barricade strategy is to ask parents for help. Children believe that their parents are strong, true heroes, able to defeat any danger. Children believe that the presence of parents can protect them from any danger. Another example of a barricade strategy employed by children is using different objects to keep monsters, insects away. Some children may use even invisible objects and imaginary protective sprays, mundane objects which they think that have magical properties, such as a broomstick that scares monsters, a piece of cloth that makes them invisible, a teddy bear that knows how to tame monsters. Learning, reading about scary things allows children to take control of the situation and may be used in a barricade strategy. For example, some children who fear insects learn about the life of insects, about how they force the bugs to stay away from them. In the case of fears of natural disasters, some children learn about actions that enable survival. Attack strategies are less frequently used by small children in a situation of fear. Convinced that the situation, person, or animal that produces fear has a force greatly superior to their own, most children think that it's completely insane to fight. Instead, they would rather adopt running or barricade strategies. Some attack strategies adopted by small children may be raw, brutal, lacking any sensitivity and compassion. For example, killing insects. But this is only a stage of development. Attack strategies on a higher level turn things that appear negative into something that stimulates the development of intelligence and creativity. For example, imagining devices using wind power or drawing a world where flowers tame monsters. Why is important to analyze your child's defense strategies? From my point of view, these strategies shape child's vision about himself and about the world. These strategies can make the difference between a winner's attitude and the attitude of someone who avoids confrontation. One of your important goals is to gradually help your child face problems, not hide or avoid them, but rather to tackle them in a creative, innovative way. One of the fundamentals of the PAF method is to encourage your child to gradually gain confidence in himself, abandon running strategies, and use those barricade strategies and attack strategies which help intelligence, creativity, innovativeness. This is a very important principle, a powerful secret that can be used for all difficult situations that your child may have to face. I will talk more about it in the module about step 3 and 4. In tools, you will find a list of strategies that your child uses or proposes in order to overcome fear. At the end of this module, you can print it and use it. Ask the child, observe his reaction, and listen to him as carefully as possible. At this point, do not make judgments, do not educate, just observe. In the module about step 1, understand the fear, I talked about the fact that children's fears appear when they get the capacity to evaluate a situation and to anticipate that something or someone could be potentially dangerous. So, in this new chapter, we are going to analyze your child's capacity to evaluate and anticipate. Let's start by talking about the capacity to evaluate a situation. It is important to determine your child's ability to evaluate a situation in general. Also, it's important to establish what knowledge your child possesses about the situation or thing that causes the fear. For example, find out what your child knows about the darkness, about different animals, about monsters, witches, or other imaginary characters. Understanding how your child evaluates a situation, on what kind of information he bases his evaluation, is very useful because it will help you see in which area the child lacks information. It can also help you stimulate the child in order to improve his capacity of evaluating by learning, by reading, by watching documentaries. It is also very important to observe the channels through which your child collects information. Discussions with other children, adult conversations, television, internet, books, personal observation of life events. The world today is a world of information. Daily we are subjected to a huge amount of information. It is important to teach your child which information is useful and credible, who he can trust, and whom he should approach with caution. In tools, you can find a questionnaire concerning the child's capacity to evaluate. At the end of this module, you can print it and you can use it. You can reformulate the questions and add others of your own in order to explore your child's knowledge in a particular field and the way he uses information channels and sources. Anticipating a phenomenon or a character as dangerous is related to many factors. Among those factors, there is one very important for parents and educators. That factor is the child's image of himself. A child that has a poor self-image, a poor self-esteem, a child who does not trust his own capacities, is a child that will tend to be afraid. Observe your child and talk to him. Find out what he thinks about his strengths and weaknesses. Find out if he has a good image of his physical, mental, and social capacities. In Tools, you will find a supporting questionnaire. At the end of this module, you can print it and you can use it. You can change the questions and you can adapt them. The information you will obtain by using this questionnaire will help you in step 4 to define your diagnosis. It will also help you to design the starting point of your project and determine the activities that can help your child to improve his self-image. Our next chapter is what your child likes to do or to get. We will focus our attention on your child's passions, hobbies, interests, everything that your child wants to make, to do, or to recite. You have already observed what your child does and what motivates him. But remember, a child's desires, needs, interests can change very quickly. So it is important to reconsider this subject and to talk again with your child, to observe him in order to know exactly what motivates him right now. There are two reasons for find out what your child likes to do or to get. First of all, your child's hobbies and interests can be very powerful allies in the process of building a proposal against fear. Any activity that you propose and which includes things that your child likes is more likely to succeed than something that is totally neutral to your child. Another reason for using what your child likes is the fact that fighting a fear requires some effort. Rewards are very important. They will maintain your child's attention on purpose, motivate, highlight, and enhance the joy of success. And now we come to another list, the list of things, activities that your child likes to do or get, and the corresponding list of rewards. You can find it in Tools. Talk with your child and use your own observation. Establish a hierarchy according to the importance and value of the things that your child likes to have as a reward. For example, on the last position you can put candy and on the top a trip to Disneyland. This list will be very important when you will establish the activities of your project and the rewards for your child's efforts. So now you arrive at the end of this module about step 2. Now you have the answer that allow you to better understand how your child reacts to a fear, what his weaknesses are, and what can motivate him to fight against fear. In the following module about step 3, I will talk about the key features of educational activities in the PAF method, the foundation stone of your framework of your project. I will show you some secret keys that will allow you to strengthen your relationship with your child and to overcome fear in a way that stimulates your child to use all his positive potential and which will favor his harmonious development.